Viewer discretion advised. This channel is all about commentary, reactions, recaps, and real talk. If you're here for full episodes or full performances, this ain't that. Due to copyright, we keep it short and to the point. And if you don't like a little extra talk or personality, this might not be the channel for you. But if you're here for laughs, conversation, and real commentary, welcome to the show.
Do you remember that time where Good Times tackled child abuse? It's one of the most famous episodes in Good Times history, okay? I said one of, okay? It's one that everybody knows, and today I'll be recapping it. So get your popcorn, get your drink, and whatever you need, because we about to get into this video. Let's go. Make sure you like, you comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit that post notification bell so you'll be amongst the first to know whenever I post a video. I'll give you a disclaimer that this is only a recap. So if you're here for the full episode, this ain't that, okay? I'm just telling you. I will make sure in the comments below, I do put the actual season and the actual episode so you can go watch it on Tubi, okay? This is why I do this, so you can go watch it for free on Tubi. But for the people who don't want to sit through a 4-part episode, because this is what this is, a 4-part episode, I got your back because we finna recap it in 30 minutes. Let's get it. This episode starts off with Michael and Thelma in the kitchen, and they're just talking, and they are bickering a little bit. You know how brother and sister do. You already know how they get down in the Evans household, baby. They always arguing, okay? And that's what they're doing. They're doing a little bickering. They're talking about the carnival that's coming up that Michael is actually the head of. Then they get a telephone call from Florida, their mother. Now, she is out of town, but we all know, anybody who's a Good Times like fan or fanatic, we all know that this is the time when Esther Rolle, okay, who plays Florida, left the set due to some things that were going on behind the scenes. So this season, she was actually not on this season. But it still was a good season to me. I know some people was like, after James left, they stopped watching. But yeah, I do want to give y'all this disclaimer. So they did say that she was out of town. She had recently got married to Carl, and they were out somewhere else. Then JJ walks in. JJ starts off by telling them how his day went, and then he's cut off by them. They're like, hey, mom's on the phone. After they get off the phone with their mom, JJ begins to tell this whole spiel about this little girl that he met on the bus. He went in saying how the little girl didn't have enough money and how he collected the money for her, and he's so extra. So the way he was telling this story was so dramatic, but it was so funny. Thelma and Michael was right with it. Like, they loved his story. They was like, JJ, that's the good thing you did for this little girl. In the midst of them talking, they have a knock on the door. When they open the door, it is that little girl that JJ was speaking of, okay? So then she has a band-aid on her head, and she looks like she may be like, you know, lost or something. And Michael answers the door, and she's like, where is he? And Michael's like, huh? She's like, he's tall, he's skinny, he's handsome. And Michael says something like, okay, we got tall and skinny, but I don't know about the handsome part. Y'all know they always give JJ a hard time. So then she sees him, and they're like, JJ, who is this little girl? And he was like, this is the little girl I was just telling y'all about. And she was just like so like happy that she found JJ. And she was already saying, you know, you were so nice to me. I just thought I'd follow you and I want to live with you. Yeah, this little girl come in like she don't know them from a can of paint. She know him from off the bus. That's it. And she's saying that she wants to live with them. And so they all looking around like, what? Like, who do you live with? So she tells this story that she lives with her aunt. And she tells the story about her dad and how something happened to him, how he has leprosy. Y'all, you can just tell it was all lies.
Come on, none of it's true. None of it's true. It's BS. They made it up. They lie.
But she just making up all these stories, and I don't think they really believed it for 1 second. They were all looking like, huh? Like, what? So anyway, she goes back into saying how she just really did not want to go home and that she wanted to live with them, and, you know, this whole spiel. Walona walks in. Walona starts to ask her who she is. The little girl goes in and says her name is Esmeralda. I think that's the name that she used. They tell her, hey, this is Esmeralda. You know, JJ met her on the bus, and Walona's kind of like, Walona's not too alarmed at the moment. She is kind of like, okay, you know, this is strange that this little girl is here, but, you know, she ain't really alarmed or whatever. It's just the little girl that followed JJ home. That's how she was looking. So then JJ's like, we know we do have to get you home. By then, Bookman walks in. You know, they call him Buffalo, but they just give my boy a hard time. But I ain't gonna lie, Bookman has done some stuff in the past. I'm telling you, he deserved it sometimes. Only sometimes, okay? Bookman walks in and tells them that a tenant that just moved in not too recently is looking for her daughter. And her daughter has on a red shirt and she's wearing white sneakers. At this point, Esmeralda is what she told them her name was. She was hiding behind JJ. And so JJ was kind of looking like, as he was describing like what the little girl had on, JJ's looking like, now what color shoes you said? And JJ's looking because the little girl is hiding. And then finally Bookman sees like, JJ, who are you hiding? Like, what are you hiding? And JJ's like, I'm hiding my booty, Bookman. That just tickled me. It was just so funny. But anyway, they see that it's the little girl. And then Bookman says, hey, this is Penny. This is who we're looking for. And they're like, Penny? And Thelma's like, hey, you told us a fib. You told us your name was Esmeralda. And she's like, well, you know, that's my play name. Like, then they realized this little girl probably done lied to us. Like, they already knew. I felt like they already knew she was lying, but they knew then, like, this little girl done told us all these lies. Ain't nothing true. Like, we can't believe nothing.
The lies. There you go. This bitch.
The lies.
She doesn't want to go home and she didn't want to go with Bookman. So then JJ does agree, like, you know what? I take you home. You can stay and eat and I'll take you home. She didn't really want to go, but she was kind of reluctant. But then when JJ agreed to take her, she's kind of like, you know, I love JJ, so I'll let him take me home. So JJ takes her home and her mother is in and she's already ironing clothes. Y'all already know what I'm about to tell y'all, okay? She's already upset when she hears a knock on the door, her mother, that is. When her mother hears a knock on the door, she's already about to go off, but then she realized that it was JJ and Penny on the other side of the door, okay? Because we know her name is now Penny, because Bookman told us that. And she kind of changes her tune then when she realizes that Penny was with somebody else. Penny is very, very apologetic. She's so apologetic to the point that it's almost like she's afraid of her mother. Yeah. She was absolutely like shaking, y'all. Like she was just very, 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 very afraid of her mother. JJ did try to lighten the mood just a little bit, and he kind of did, but you could tell that her mother just could not wait for JJ to leave. Then we get into the famous scene, y'all. Her mother closes the door after JJ leaves. She begins to iron, okay? After she's ironing, she tells Penny, she's like, didn't I tell you that you need to come straight home from school? And Penny's like, yes, mama. And she's like, did you disobey me? She said, yes, mama. And by this point, she already know that her mama finna react because Penny takes off and she tries to go towards the bedroom door, I do believe, or the bathroom, whatever it is, and the door is locked. And her mom's like, yeah, I knew that would be the first place you run. I locked it. And then her mother unplugs her iron and you already know the rest. She walks towards her and Penny is hysterical. She's crying. She's like, please, mama, please don't do it. Please don't do it. And they didn't show it, but we already know that she did it. All right, so then it pans back over to the Evans apartment. The Evans are still getting ready for the carnival, y'all. This is a 4-part episode, and this whole time, for at least 2 to 3 of the episodes, they're getting ready for this carnival. So this is a big deal. So Penny walks in, and they're still getting ready. And at this point, JJ is actually getting ready for his date. So he's in the bathroom, and Penny's telling him how good he looks. He turns around, and he thinks that's his date talking, but it's Penny. So that was weird. I'm like, you thought that it... Anyway, cool. This a little girl. Anyway, okay, that's besides the point because we ain't dissected that hard because this ain't even that serious. But anywho, tells Penny that he's getting ready for a date. She kind of gets sad because, you know, she loves some JJ. Then Michael invites her to the carnival. She's saying how she didn't have anything to wear. So Willana says, hey, I got some stuff for you. Let me go home real quick. Okay, so Willana leaves to get some stuff for Penny to wear to the carnival. Penny wants JJ to play house with her, like with her little baby doll, because she came over there with a little baby doll. And he was already like, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. So then Thelma talks him into playing house with, you know, little Penny. So he started playing house and he sings this lullaby. By the time he ends the lullaby, his girlfriend has pulled up, or his date has pulled up, and she walks in and she sees it, but she's kind of in a hurry, y'all. This girl is in a hurry this whole time. She wants to go, but you could tell JJ really did not want to leave Penny because Penny was like, please, JJ, don't leave me, JJ, please. He's like, well, I have to see you next time. By this point, Willana has walked back in with her clothes that she has for Penny. As she's pulling off the sweater, she realizes that she has a burn on her arm. We already know that her mom has burnt her. We know, but they just don't know just yet, okay? This is their first time finding out that, hey, this little girl actually hurt. So we remember the Band-Aid that she had when they first seen her, but then they see a bandage, a big old bandage where she got burned. And then she lies and tells them that she tripped over her pussycat while she was doing something. I don't know. She lied again because she was good at that. At least she thought she was good at that. So she told them that she tripped over her cat and got burnt on the stove. They're like, I don't think, you know, this don't sound right. That's what Thelma and Willana was saying, like, hey, this don't sound right. And then, y'all, they realized that she has like all these bruises on her back, y'all. And by the way, his date, JJ's date, is already upset and like, JJ, come on. So he goes off on her. He's like, you know what? You ain't double parked. I'm trying to worry about this child and you over here trying to rush me. Oh yeah, get on. So JJ like kicks his girlfriend out or his date out because he's more concerned about Penny, rightfully so, because this little girl is actually visibly hurt. Okay, she got bruises all up and down her back, and it is bad, y'all. It was terrible. By this point, they get a knock on the door, and it is Penny's mother. Okay, as if things could not get worse. So then she walks in, and they're like telling her, hey, you know, Penny has all this stuff on her, what's going on. So Penny walks up to her mother and is like, Mom, I did not tell them what happened. I did not tell them what happened. Now she's saying this out loud where the Evans and Walona can hear her because she's a child and she's not thinking. And the mama is like going with the story that Penny told them, say, Miss Penny told you that this happened. This is what happened, blah, blah, blah. Walona was already calling her bluff because when I tell you Walona was on her neck, baby, Walona was on her neck this whole time. Walona wasn't playing with that lady, okay? So anyway, after that, y'all, she takes Penny home, okay? Walona is now really, really super worried about Penny, okay? She knows that something is going on, but she can't put her finger on it just yet. You know, she knows her mother is full of, you know what, and yeah. Then Penny walks in again. I don't know how she keep ditching her mama, but she does, y'all. Somehow she ends back over at the Evans household. It was really a cry for help because my girl really was going through a lot at home with her mother, and she just needed help. And I'm so happy that the Evans were there for her, okay? So she was over there and just enjoying the little teddy bears that they had and whatnot. And I guess Penny ends up leaving again. I'm not sure because at this point, like, she's not in there, and they're all dressed up because it goes into the next scene. So they're all dressed up at this point, and everybody has on their outfit, and they're leaving for the carnival. Then they see Penny sitting outside, and she's crying, y'all, and she's favoring one of her arms, and Walona says her mother has broken her arm because Walona already knew. All right. So at this moment, they already knew that they had to intervene all the way. Walona and the rest of the gang takes Penny to the hospital or to the wherever they went, y'all. I don't know if it was the clinic or what. And they saw a doctor. Now, the doctor was a black man, but he just really wasn't advocating for this child like he should have. And Walona was. Walona was like, you really need to intervene on this. You need to report this. She's trying to report it to the doctor. The doctor is not listening to her. She's like, hey, this little girl has been beat on. I'm telling you, this is the third thing that we've seen on this little girl. This girl is being beat. Okay, this is child abuse. The doctor does not listen to her. He's all like, well, we didn't see it happen. You're not even her mother. I need consent. So he all just not even listen to her, but he does bandage her up, and he does realize that she is not, her arm is not broken. I think it was like sprained or something. But anyway, he sent them on their way. Walona takes her back to the Evans household. At this point, she's trying to get everything out of her as she could. Okay, she's like, you know what? I got to talk to you. Look, you need to tell us the truth. Is your mother doing this to you? She's already like not answering. And Penny did look like she did want to answer. She did look like she wanted to say, hey, my mama beating on me. But she was just too afraid, like most victims are. She was so afraid of her mother. So afraid. And by this point, y'all, guess who come? Her mama. And her mama got the police with her. Her mama really done accused Walona of kidnapping this child. After she done beat on this child, she comes in with the police, hot and mighty, like she's somebody, and says this lady has kidnapped my child. Walona's pleading her case and whatever. Okay, I'm just gonna move past this part because it really made me upset. But anyway, she takes her daughter and she leaves. Okay, and they don't see Penny for a good little while. Okay, and at this point, Walona is just very, very upset at this point. Like, she's not even like paying attention to what she's doing. Thelma calls her out like, hey, you okay? Like, and she's like, no, you know, I'm just really worried about Penny. You know, I don't know what's going on. By this point, y'all, the doctor office called, the doctor that actually seen Penny, he calls and he apologizes to Walona for just being kind of dismissive about the whole situation. And he does report it. Thank God my dude came through finally, because he was really acting like a, you know what, okay, really crappy. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But anyway, he did make up for it. At this point, Walona is very excited because they're gonna send over a social worker. Okay, the social worker does get there, and Walona begins to report everything what's going on. Drinking out of the fish bowl. I don't know. I think that happened. I don't know, y'all. I don't know what was wrong with this lady. This lady just didn't seem too tight. But anyway, y'all, so she did. So after they reported, the lady did go by the house of Penny and her mother, and only to find out that she was not there. I believe Bookman did say that the lady and her daughter moved out. They got out of here. She got all her stuff and she moved out of the building. At this point, they are very, very upset. They're like, oh, Lord, at least we were here for her. You know, at least we were here and she was able to escape to our home. What is going to happen to her now? Y'all, it was a lot. Like, this was just such a roller coaster. But y'all, we're not done. It's the next scene and Penny actually shows back up. So I don't know if Penny left the building or what, but y'all, she finds her way back to the Evans house. And she's hungry. And so I think she goes in the refrigerator. She gets some cake. She gets some milk. And then she hears them coming and she hides in the closet. Okay. At this point, they're just talking and stuff. And now I don't know if they're talking about, I don't remember the conversation they were having, but I think they were talking. I know at one point they were having a conversation about alleged child abuse because Michael was saying how, hey, this is alleged. And Thelma was like, well, we don't know that her mother is doing this. And Malone's like, I know her mama beating on this child. And so they having this conversation and y'all got to excuse me for skipping parts because I don't think anything else matters in this episode. I think you just want to hear about her abuse. So that's why I'm skipping over some parts, but I'm telling y'all the gist of this episode. Then they hear a knock at the door again and it's her mama again. It's her mama again. And I'm just like, this lady swears she loved this child. So she comes in and she accuses them of having Penny. Now, mind you, they don't know Penny is there hiding in the closet. So they're going off because they're like, hey, we ain't got Penny. Like, what you mean? And Walona's going toe to toe with her, okay? So Walona's telling her, like, baby, anywhere that she is, as long as she ain't with you, she probably safer. Like, and the lady going off. And so JJ was like, you know what? You think we got her? Okay, let me show you. Let me show you we don't have her. So he's showing her different places. Like, oh yeah, she here? Oh no, I ain't think so. Oh, is she here? I don't think so. Yeah. And she was like, okay, fine. Maybe y'all don't have her then. Y'all don't know that how stressed out this girl makes me. This girl just stresses me out. And then JJ's like, oh no, don't stop now. Let's go and look in this closet. And baby, when he opened the closet, he see Penny and then he closed the door. He closed the closet back really quickly. And so her mother doesn't see, but he knows that she's there at this moment. He knows that she's in there. And so the mother begins going to this whole spiel about how Penny ain't been nothing but a pain, how Penny be running off all her men. A mother should never feel like, oh, I can't keep a man because of my child. Like, what? Baby, if you're a single mother, your child should come way before a man at that point, okay? In my opinion. Now, if you married a man, y'all get married, he's a good man, then your husband will come before your kids. But at this point, in my opinion, I'm like, you need to be worried about your child. Why is you worried about a man? But anyway, she going into this whole spiel, then she begins to cry, and then Penny comes out because she loves her mother. And she comes out and say, Mama, I'm sorry. And she's like, I thought y'all said y'all didn't have her. Da, da, da. Penny does tell the truth and say, you know what? They did not know I was here. I snuck in here because I was hungry. I got me some cake. I got me some milk. And so, yeah. Then Walona tries to tell her, hey, you know, you need some help. You need to get some help because clearly you going through a breakdown. And then Thelma tells her, hey, this is this group. You need to go to this group. I'm telling you about this group. And she was like, y'all can't help me. How y'all tell me about a group? I don't need no help. What y'all mean? And like, baby, she's just going off. So then she gets to shaking Penny and y'all, she holds her hand up like she's going to hit Penny again. And that's when she said, oh my God, not again. So her mother ends up about to walk out the door. Penny tries to stop. Mama, please, please. She's like, no, Penny, stay. I'll come back. And she left. Okay. And that was the last we heard from Penny's mother. Penny sat there, y'all. Penny begins to cry. Penny sat and she was just so sad, y'all, as any other child would. Any child would be sad. And she tells them, she's like, my mama's not coming back yet. Because you could just tell that her mother was just not coming back. You can tell by the way because think about this. Every time Penny would run off, her mother come looking for her, right? And she bring her right back. But at this moment, for her to leave her with them, was very telling because she acted like she cared so much about her child because she kept coming back to get her just to abuse her. Finally, it was like she finally made the right decision by leaving her child with somebody else that won't abuse her, okay? They were trying to do everything they could, like make her laugh and stuff. And finally, JJ makes her laugh. And yeah. So then it pans over to Walona's apartment and she actually lets Penny stay the night with her. Penny was admiring how beautiful Walona's apartment was because, you know, Walona was a single, you know, person. Like she didn't have any kids or anything. So her apartment did look like a single woman. She even let Penny like get rid of like some man on the phone that was asking for her. And also she let Penny say her prayers and stuff. And Penny was praying for her mama, y'all. And it was just so, it just was tugging at my heartstrings once again when she was praying for her mother. So they do report her to the social workers, and she was just saying how Penny like was having night terrors. Like she was waking up screaming, she was tossing and turning. So it just shows you how much of a trauma like this little girl has went through just from being abused from her mother, like day to day. And finally, y'all, the social worker does come pick up Penny. And y'all, when she was saying her little goodbyes to everybody, especially to JJ, y'all know how much she loved JJ. Anybody who's a Good Times fan knows she loved JJ. And y'all, the social worker ended up taking Penny. And when I tell you, y'all, I was screaming because why Penny done ditched this lady and came back? Yeah, y'all, Penny done ditched the lady, mashed the basement, y'all, with the lady. She done mashed the basement and made the lady go to the basement, and she done went back to the Evans house. I said, what thing about my girl Penny is, baby, she be in survival mode. You hear me? She done left this lady, and she comes back, and they're like, Penny, what are you doing? And she was like, child, I left her. She in the basement, like. And so she gets to talking about how she wanted to stay with them, and they were just telling her, like, hey, you know, you can't stay with us. And then she said, what about Walona? And them was like, no, Walona can't do it. And so then Walona gets so quiet, y'all. And I could tell like the night that Penny stayed with her meant everything to her, because I think she started to really dream about having a child once she was there, once Penny was there and she was watching Penny. And so Walona was like staring off into space, and she was letting everybody talk for her, but Walona would not say anything. So that's how we knew that Walona really did want Penny. At this point, she wanted Penny. She wanted to take care of Penny. She wanted Penny to be hers. But anyway, she played it off like she didn't really want her. She was kind of like, you know, it'll be hard for me to take care of a child, you know, blah, blah, blah. Does pan over to the next episode. And on this episode, Walona is actually like, y'all, she got on this tracksuit and she's like running through the apartment. Like she's running through the Evans apartment. They're like, what's going on? And she's like, if I want to get Penny, I need to be in shape. So I guess it was just implied that she actually was trying to get Penny and try to, you know, adopt her or whatever. So I guess she had already filled out the paperwork. Okay, we just got to assume that, because for her to say, hey, I'm trying to get Penny. So anyway, they're telling her stuff like, you ain't got to do all that to get Penny. And she's like, yeah, I got to be fit. You know, I ain't used to this motherhood thing. I got to be ready. All right. So she's waiting on the social worker to get there. Bookman wants to help Walona. And by helping, he tells the social worker that he is actually married to Walona, because he's thinking that it's a better chance of her getting Penny if she's in a 2-parent household. Y'all, I don't know why he would do that. Why would he do that? If she had already filed to get the child single, why would you tell them that she was married? Anyway, he's already at her apartment because I think he was supposed to be fixing something at the apartment. So it was just so convenient for him. So he tells her that. And so Walona actually comes in. And the lady's asking her questions about Bookman, and she's like, what are you talking about? Like, she looking crazy because the lady thinking that that's her husband, and Walona don't know, she has no clue what's going on. So then she I think she tries to go with it for a second, but then she finally tells the lady, look, like, this ain't my husband. And the lady's like, you were dishonest. Like, why? Like, you had it going for you, Miss Woods, but now since you lied, and she's like, I did not lie. So Bookman done messed up her chances, okay? Yes, I left a little parts out, but it's fine, y'all. Bookman done messed up her chances of getting Penny at this point because he done lied. So at this point, she goes back to the Evans because, you know, that's her second home. And she's like really upset at Bookman. Like, she's like, I don't know why he would do that. Like, I have no chance of getting her now. Like, this is like, I have no chance of getting her. Okay. Like, I'm never going to get this child. But he does try to come over and apologize. Bookman does try to come over and, you know, whatever. But anyway, y'all, to make a long story short, because this is what a recap is about, Walona ends up with Penny after the lady brings Penny to her. I guess she just forgives her and says, you know what, this is the best place for her. And yep. And so that is how Penny is introduced to the Evans and to Walona, and now Walona and Penny are mother and daughter. Such a beautiful episode. Now, I don't think they had to take 4 parts now. 4 parts to tell this story, that was a bit much. And I guess so. It was a lot. And I feel like they could have cut out a lot of that carnival jazz because it was a lot. But I think they had to stretch it out because it was good TV, right? Back in the day, I'm sure y'all was happy. Like, oh, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. But part 4 is crazy, okay? I feel like they could have wrapped it up in 2 parts, but that's just neither here nor there. But anyway, I love some good times, so I didn't mind sitting through it, okay? Especially for y'all. Let me know in the comments what episodes and what shows you would like me to recap. Okay, I really, really enjoy doing recaps. I love doing it in my own words. Y'all let me know if I miss out a part that y'all know. Okay, y'all let me know in the comments if I missed the part. Okay, because sometimes I be talking so fast and I miss stuff. But I think I got all the big parts. But y'all let me know. I love y'all so much. I hope y'all have enjoyed this Flashback Friday. I'll catch y'all next week on Throwback Thursday or either Flashback Friday. Stay tuned. Make sure you like, you comment, and subscribe. I love y'all. Bye.